shout out to the homie Enzo. And I'm sure plenty of you have said this or would have said this, but this was the suggestion that he put out for me to try. I do know that Raven and Sinestro go well together, and I have my sneaking suspicions about Grodd. I haven't developed him much, to be frank, to be completely frank. So what I'm going to do right now is, this is the second trio. We're going to talk about how Sinestro, Raven, and Grodd are an amazing debuff team. Let's get to the video.
There is a difference between you and me. We both looked into the abyss. But when it looked back at us, you blinked.
Hi guys, I'm Grodd here, and this is a DC Worlds Collab video. In this video, so we're going to go over what is basically a debuff trio. Now, I know they do set up teams for this stuff, and I will go to the team synergy down here real quick. For Sinestro's team synergy, you do need all deployed allies get blah blah, but during battle, each type of debuff will increase the damage received by the enemy by 3% up to a limit of 15%. Now, what I expected to see here was debuff teams, but actually what you need for this to activate is a tank and a support. Good thing Grodd is a tank and Raven is a support. So now I will admit also to not knowing their kits nearly as well as like when I had the block team. So I did know they worked well together. I did a quick read through like before recording this. I didn't realize how well they work together. So let's be surprised together. So hopping right into Grodd. Now, from what you've seen and what you're going to understand of, and actually, you know what? We're going to work backwards. Actually, I've just changed my mind. We're going to work backwards because basically the engine to this whole thing is Sinestro. We want to get as many debuffs out there so that he can actually do all the damage. So on his passive here, or we'll do the first passive. When he inflicts a stack of fear on an enemy, he progresses on the action bar by 20%. We come here, when any ally adds a debuff to an enemy, Sinestro gains 1 power of fear up to a max of 6 stacks. When Sinestro casts an ultimate, he consumes all the stacks of power of fear. For every 1 stack consumed, ultimate damage temporarily gains 10% bonus. I'm saying this and I'm going through this back and forth because I do get confused by how they use the words stack of fear, and then power of stacks when they stack up. That can be very, very, very confusing. So I am going to try to point that out a little bit because it is kind of confusing that the power of fear stacks are not the same as the stack of fear. You're stacking the fear on the enemy, and the power of stacks is something that you'll see stack on him. So now, basically what you're trying to understand is that you want your allies to put debuffs out onto the enemy, because as they're putting debuffs out onto the enemy, this is giving him stacks of fear, and that stacks of fear will then add damage to his ultimate attack, which is uses the bone claw to deal superpower damage equal to 50% of attack to all enemies. If the enemy has debuffs, there is a chance of adding 1 stack of fear, the fear debuff, for 2 turns. Afterwards, deal superpower damage equal to 200% of the attack row, increases damage to the front row to 235%. Now, the stack of fear, which is the actual debuff, knocks back the action bar by 30% when added and decreases damage dealt by 15% afterwards. So they're going to do less damage and they're going to have the turn pushed back when this ultimate goes off if he adds a stack of fear. Now, chance is another kind of buff thing. It's just something that they've explained pretty well, actually. The more types of debuffs the enemy has, the higher the chance. When there are 5 types of debuffs, the chance increases to 100%. So if I can get 5 debuffs out there, there's a 100% chance that we're going to add a stack of fear. Okay? So this means that we really, 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 really want a bunch of types of debuffs out there. And then forgive, because I'm really going to go back through. You're adding 1 stack of slow here. You're going to add potentially attacks an enemy row dealing superpower damage. It adds 1 stack of 2 of the 3 buffs. So you're going to either add weaken, slow, or armor break. You're going to add 2 of those 3 when you're doing his advanced attack. And then it prioritizes the target. It prioritizes debuffs that the target is currently not inflicted with. So, for example, when you see Grodd's kit, you're going to see that he puts out armor break. That means that it's then going to put out slow and weaken. If you're going to get weakened from Ocean Mist, I just was looking at, then you're gonna put out slow and armor break. So that's the kit for Sinestro, and basically what we're looking for is putting out a bunch of different types of debuffs. We're gonna go straight into Gorilla Grodd. So thought it might be easier for you to read if I did it this way. I'm not gonna start the video over though. I'll do it this way so that you guys can see the actual kit itself a little bit better. So deals physical damage equal to 85% of an attack, and then deals armor break. Okay, so armor break, what that does is decreases defense by 20% and crit resistance by 5%. So the funny part about this is they're weakening you as they're going through this, adding armor break, but at the same time they're gonna hit you harder because, especially Sinestro, because you have those debuffs out there. This passive at the start of battle, and this is what makes him a really, really good tank and very, very good for this section, which is why I have HP, and it may not be absolutely necessary, but it does make it pretty hard to put down. At the start of battle, gains 40% damage reduction for 2 rounds. When attacking damage from damage dealers with debuffs, each type of debuff grants him 5% damage reduction. So the more types of debuff you have out, the more damage reduction he has, the harder it is for him to fall. At the start of battle, damage reduction gain is increased to 55%. I did forget something on Sinestro. I'm going to go back to that in a second. When attacked, he has a 30% chance to increase one random type of debuff the damage dealer has by 1 stack for 3 rounds. So you're going to potentially, and this has gone up to 50% chance, duplicate a random debuff and have it last for 3 rounds. On his ultimate attack, uses telepathy on the enemy back row, dealing super power damage equal to 80% and knocking back. This is the part that I love. Knocking them back 25% of the action bar, and also adds 1 stack of slow and 1 stack of weaken for 2 turns. If the target, if the target has 4 or more types of debuffs, which we're trying to get them out there. Control effects. The control effects. It's good that they put that in there. So they're also meaning not just debuffs, but also stuns, silences, freeze. The knockback effect increases by 15%, so it'll be up to a 40% chance. And then knockback of the action bar increases to 35% here at rank 10, which then means if you take this into account, it'll be a full 50%. And then you know what weaken does: attack by 8%, and block break by 5%, and then slow, you reduce speed by 5%. So basically, you want a lot of debuffs going out. Now, one thing that I did not go over in Sinestro's kit, we'll touch on it real quick now, is that right now you see that there is a limit. Oops, let's go this way. Right now you see that there's a limit of the, based on what I was reading, there is a limit to the amount of power stacks he could have, which will then limit the damage. The power stack reaches 6, and that's the max that it has here. Then the ultimate point consumption is decreased by 1. We want that to happen because it is 4 right now for his ultimate, which is very expensive, and it steals energy from others and also kind of puts up like a roadblock behind characters that are behind him in the ultimate order if you do run auto mode like I love to do. So this becomes very important to get those stacks up to 6, which Grodd helps get that up to. Grodd and Raven get that up very, very quickly, so that his ultimate cost reduces to 3, and it makes it much more affordable within the team that you're in. Additionally, when we come here, on his badge, this maximum of the power of fear that he can stack goes up to 10. And that's just at tier 1. So you're going to be able to unlock a whole lot more damage just by doing the first tier of his badge. When collecting the power of fear, there is a 20% chance of collecting an additional one. So that means you can get 2. 20% of you getting 2 instead of just 1. When other allies add debuffs and the target is inflicted with fear, increases the additional chance of collecting by 100%. Monstrous. I didn't even know that. Monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. Okay. Let's go back to Grodd, because I'm going to check Grodd's badge real quick too, because I have done absolutely nothing in his badge. I may not even have it unlocked for me to look at. Yeah, I don't even have it unlocked for me to look at. I haven't done anything to his badge, so we'll come back to that another time, another day. I may be able to do that through his character files. I might go back and do that. Raven. Absolutely love Raven. I have her rank 10. She is one of my favorite characters in the game. In the very, very beginning, she is huge for you. If you do not have a healer, she revives, and it's incredible. Later on in the game now, and she might have fallen off only because I started putting my resources into other characters. Now in the game, she is a very good member of my team. I absolutely love her. On her basic, just a basic attack, or you would think. On her passive, she revives, which is awesome, and puts out shelter. This doesn't necessarily benefit the team in the sense of the debuffs. However, here, upon dealing damage, this goes back to the basic now, randomly adds one stack of a damage type of debuff. So bleed, poison, burn, frostbite. So we're not doing the weakest lower armor break that you get from Grodd or Sinestro, which is giving us a different type of debuff. When triggered, this instance of damage gains an additional 30% lifesteal if the target has 3 or more types of debuffs. So while Gorilla Grodd and Sinestro are putting out those debuffs, she is going to get 30% lifesteal. When triggered, additionally inflicts fear on the target for 2 rounds if the target has 5 or more types of debuffs and the damage taken was dealt by the ultimate. So when she does her ultimate, she could add fear for 2 rounds if there are 5 types of debuffs. Yeah. And it says when triggered. When triggered is upon dealing damage. The ultimate, it's fun. Why I really want to take her to rank 10. Deal superpower, because this thing right here, okay, let me get to okay. Deal superpower damage equal to 300% of attack to the enemy target with the most debuffs. So whoever has the most debuffs, you're getting hurt. Also permanently decreases the attack by 8% and defense by 8% as we go down. Increases damage to 410%, damage decreases 10%. Last one, duplicates all debuffs on the target by 1 stack for 2 rounds. Duplicating all the debuffs on them. Insane. All right. So that is this team, and that is how they work there, and it's incredible. I'm more surprised by them because I really was focused on my block team, and I have not looked at them this much before. It is stupid how good they are. I'm gonna run them into this Superman comp, and we will put in Zatanna for the crits and the extra heals that we could get. I kind of want. I'm gonna do it. It's kind of cheating, but I'm gonna do it. I'm putting in Mr. Terrific. Why am I putting in Mr. Terrific? Because no, they do put out burns. In this specific scenario, Mr. Terrific, when he does his team synergy and when he does his attack, and I maybe not be able to run this with Grodd, when he does his ultimate, he duplicates the debuffs and mirrors them. Yeah, that's right, on his ultimate. He duplicates the debuffs on his team and sends them back to Superman and Starfire in this situation. So you're adding more debuffs. I do run Terrific with Sinestro quite often because that does add the stack of fear on the backside of Power of Fear, on the backside for Sinestro, and it just puts more different types of debuffs out there if they're giving us debuffs. Can also help detonate some of the burns that would be out there from what she's putting out in terms of damage type of debuffs. If there's burns out there, or if they're giving us burns, he ships those right back to him. And then we will put in Zatanna, a little bit of extra heal. This may not go great for me. We're gonna run. Here's one issue. Grodd I'm gonna put behind Sinestro because Grodd's ultimate count is 2, which means he is eating up anything that's left behind. His is 4, which means he may block a lot. So having the 4 in front of the 2, that still equals 6, so they should be okay with each other. However, it may mean that Mr. Terrific does not get much of a chance to go. So we're gonna run this and just see. But I guess this will be more of an experiment side of things, see how it goes. But we're gonna watch all the debuffs that get put out. We'll put this at 2x because I need to pay extra close attention here. Enzo said actually add Nightwing and Ocean Master, which I would have done because they are very good at putting out a lot of debuffs, but I did just do a video on them. And it feels like I only use them. So you see all these types of debuffs out here. One sec. Let me click that ellipses. All those debuffs are already on Superman. That's stupid. His stack of fear is already up to 5. Now it's up to 6. Here comes the ultimate attack. This should be powerful. Yeah, it did a good amount of damage. And this is no slouch of a Superman, by the way. We're on turn 3, and look at all the stuff that we've done to Look at everything we've done to them. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe. If you don't like it, hit subscribe and a dislike. I'm okay with that as well. This team is fun. Look at all those debuffs he sent back. He didn't mirror all of them back, but he got a lot of them back. He's already back up to Stack of Fear 8. Power of Fear 8. He's already back up to 8. That is dumb. And she's about to deal so much more damage and double up deep. Look at what all those debuffs she did. Look at that. This is a lot of fun, I have to admit. I have to admit. I understand the excitement. I do. I do. So much fun. They were right. They were right. Look at all those debuffs on Starfire. She has no chance. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. No chance.